So first of all, we're going to apply our interfacing to our waistband pieces. So I've got 2 waistband pieces and 2 pieces of interfacing. You want to put your interfacing face down on the wrong side of your fabric, so the glue side is touching the back of the fabric. And then make sure it's correctly positioned. And then just hold the iron over that for about 15 seconds. You can use a pressing cloth if you prefer, just to fuse the waistband with the interfacing. So what we'll do is we'll do the interfacing first, and then what we're going to do is a baste fit. So the next video will be all about how to baste your jeans together so that you can try them on before you do all of the hard work of all of the details. And you don't have to do the baste fitting if you're confident that they're going to fit, or if you actually have already made a wearable toile and you've already kind of done your adjustments. But if you're going straight to making your jeans, then a baste fit will just help you fine-tune the fit. So baste fitting, what we're going to do is, with a large long stitch that can be easily unpicked, we're going to baste the jeans together so that we can try them on before we do all the final finishing touches and go on to make our jeans. At this stage, if we need to take it in a bit, if we need to eat into the seam allowance and let it out a bit, we still can do fairly easily. So take your 2 front legs, your left and right front legs, and then take piece number 5, which is the pocket entry, and we just need to place piece number 5 underneath the front of our jeans. Should be able to sort of match up the shapes really. I mean, that notch will be where the pocket ends, which will be about there. There's a belt loop notch there at the front, so kind of line it up so that this shape is lined up here, and then just pin through all layers. We're not going to worry about right sides together. We're just going to baste with a large long stitch round here just to hold those 2 pieces together, and then we'll do the same on this side here as well. Over to the sewing machine just to sew through here and through here. Okay, so I'm just going to sew these 2 bits together. I have reduced my tension to about 3, the bottom end of the regular tension. My stitch length is 5, which is the longest stitch length I can do, and I'm not going to do a back stitch. I'm also using a bright pink thread so that I can easily see it to undo it. There you go, so you can see a stitch there. It's very loose, very easy to pull out, very long stitch, but it will just hold those 2 bits of fabric together. So you can see there my pockets are just mapped onto the front there. Trim off those thread tails, and then we'll do the same on the back, attaching the yoke onto the back legs. Okay, so piece number 4 is the back yoke. We need to attach our back yokes to our back legs like this. So these are my back legs here and here. With these, I think we can sew right sides together with an accurate seam allowance. Unlike the pockets are a bit different because they sort of sit one piece behind the other. This we can actually sew it like as if it was a proper seam. Over to the sewing machine, 1 centimetre seam allowance across there, attaching the back yokes to the back trouser legs. So I want to make sure that, I'm working with an accurate 1 centimetre seam allowance. Again, using a long stitch, low tension, and bright coloured thread, and not back stitching at the beginning or end. So I'm just going to lightly press those seams down. I don't really want to kind of go overboard with this. Like I say, we're just popping these big pieces together just so that we can try them on very quickly. Then what we want to do is put these back legs right sides together, and we're going to sew the crotch seam at the back. So that's the back crotch seam sewn up. So I now have my jeans back sewn. I'll now sew together my jeans front. So put these right sides together, and then we're just going to sew around here. So you're not going to close the fly because you want to get in and out of them. So just sew around here from the bottom of that notchy bit down to the in-between an inside leg seam. So next up we can get the front legs and the back legs, put those right sides together, and we can sew the outside leg seams. Same on the other side. So you don't need loads of pins. We are just doing this really quickly. So all the way down those leg seams. Okay, so outside legs done. Now we'll do the inside leg seams. So match up the crotch area there, where the inside leg seams meet the crotch seams, and then bring the raw edges together. Once that's all pinned, we'll just sew this in one big long line. Okay, lastly, we're going to attach the waistband, and don't skip this step because you won't want to try these on without your waistband on for two reasons. You won't get a good read on the fit, but also you might stretch out your waist area. So it's really important not to skip this bit. Now take your waistband that has, both your waistband pieces, you've got two, will have buttonhole markings on them. The buttonhole marking should be on the side with the fly marking, and it should be able to go right sides together with your trousers so that your buttonhole is sort of in line with your fly, and the longer curve, the outside curve, goes to the waist area. So the shorter curve is at the top and the longer curve is at the bottom. And we can start off by matching up some notches. So I've got my notch there for my side seam, and then just continue pinning my waistband all the way around the top waist edge of your trouser. There's my centre back seam, all the way back round to the front on the other side. Bearing in mind that that will extend because that is where your fly guard is going to go. So don't worry if it doesn't match up on the other side, just let it do its thing. It will hang over by a significant amount. Okay, so we're going to sew our waistband all the way around here, and then we can try our jeans on. So let's flatten that out. Your jeans are now sewn together, albeit quite in a rough fashion, but these are now in a suitable condition for you to try on. And you know, you will get, because you've been accurate with your seam allowances, you will get a rough idea of how these fit, or a good idea of how these fit once you try them on. You know, if you find that you need to take them in a bit at the hip or at the waist, it's fairly easy to do so at this stage. You know, if you think once you've done all the top stitching and you've put the pocket bags in and everything like this, you know, it's more tricky at the end of the project. But by basting everything together like this, it means you can just put them on and do a little bit of troubleshooting now. Likewise, you can check the rise, you can check the fit around the crotch and the bottom. Length, obviously they're going to be a little longer because you haven't hemmed them, so bear all of that in mind. Bear in mind they're not going to look extremely beautiful, but at least you will be able to get a read on how they fit you and just do any fine tuning. So we only have a 1 centimetre seam allowance to play with, but even if you let that out by 4 millimetres on each seam, that would be sort of 8 millimetres, 8 millimetres. I wouldn't worry about the front, but another 8 on the back. So that's 1.5 centimetres just over on the circumference if you let out each seam by just 4 millimetres, if you see what I mean. So you can kind of, even though you've only got a centimetre seam allowance to play with, you can kind of even let these out. Obviously taking them in again, you just would increase your seam allowance when you're making the jeans. But it's best to kind of know at this stage how they fit you, rather than going through a really complex series of processes with top stitching and fly front and all of this, and then find that the fit is just not 100%. So by taking the time to do this, you can kind of get one step ahead of yourself and try them on right now. So good luck with basting them up. Good luck with trying them on. If you do make any alterations or adjustments, just make loads of notes. Make sure that you adjust on the pattern if you make any adjustments, and next time you make the jeans you don't have to baste fit again, you're already a step ahead. And yeah, you can just make loads of notes about, oh, I want to take this in a bit, you can sort of pin it in, I want to let this out a bit. So if you were letting them out, you could actually re-sew your basting seams but further out, and then unpick your original basting seams and try them on again. If the rise was too long, you could always just shave a little off the top, you know, and if it's just a little bit, and bring your waistband down by 1 centimetre so that you can shorten the rise. Even if it's only by a small amount at this stage, you would want to curve the pockets further down so you don't end up with shallow pockets. But yeah, you could even sort of shorten the rise slightly. If the rise is too short, you could cut a new waistband that's a bit deeper. You know, you can really sort of find ways round any fitting issues that you might have. So good luck with that. Once tried on, you've made your notes, you've recorded any adjustments that you want to make. Once you've done that, then unfortunately it's the tedious job of just unpicking all of this stitching, but hopefully that's fairly easy because we've reduced the tension and used a longer stitch. So I've tried my jeans on, I've unpicked them and very carefully, taking care not to stretch out or spoil my pieces. And the only thing I noticed when I tried them on was that they do gape at the back a little bit. So they fit nicely around the bottom, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take in just by 1 centimetre, so 0.5 centimetre either side. I'm just going to take in that yoke at the back just to angle it in a little bit. So this is my centre back here, and this is where I had the gaping. So I'm just going to slice that off there just to take that in. So I'm kind of simultaneously cutting down the pattern and the fabric just by a tiny bit, just because it's a little bit gapey at the back. And then because I've taken that in, so I've taken that in by 0.5 centimetre either side, so 1 centimetre in total. I just need to do the same on my back waistband. I don't want to lose the position of that centre back notch there, so I'm just going to slice out the centimetre there, pop that back on. There we go. So now if this is going to dramatically sort of change the shape of my waistband, so if you've done adjustments to your jeans that really do change the shape of your waistband, then it's worth just recutting another waistband from your piece, because you can't recut the legs or anything like that, but you can recut the waistband. I'm just going to map that on, matching up that centre back notch there. I think I can probably just get away with skimming that down by a little bit at either, sort of do it a little cheat version, so make sure that's lined up. I still obviously want my waistband to fit, even though I've taken that out of the the yoke, so I've made the waist a little smaller. I just want to make sure that everything's going to fit together. So obviously this is very personal to me, this adjustment, because, you know, that's what I found when I tried my jeans on. You might find, you know, something different. So just whatever you do, sort of transfer it onto your pattern piece and your fabric, because you want everything to fit nicely. So there you go, just taking 1 centimetre out of the waist at the centre back. And we are now, adjustments done. Baste, you know, the baste fitting has given me the confidence that I know that my jeans are now going to fit nicely. If you had more adjustments to do, then just take your time. More time at the beginning of the project means a better project at the end. And although it is a bit tedious, you know, it's really nice to have a nice fitting jean, so it is worth that extra effort.